This is the video tutorial for the Nativity Star Shadow Box designed by Marji of 3dcuts.com. I'm starting the assembly of the Star Nativity Shadow Box. When you cut it, you will cut 5 of these star side brackets, and they have dotted fold lines on them. The side tabs all get folded toward the inside. My paper is the same color on both sides, so it doesn't really matter, but if yours has two colored sides, make sure this is the inside. This one gets folded also. And the end tab gets folded the opposite direction. Okay? Now I like using score tape. It keeps my fingers clean, so I use it in all kinds of different applications. And I also keep it with the backing on until I'm ready to put things together. You're going to put score tape on all 4 of these tabs along the outside edge. Okay, I've got this on the 4 insides, and then I turn it over and I'm going to put it along the dotted fold line on the other side of the end tab, right there as well. Press it in place. Okay, I'm going to do it to all 5 pieces. Okay, mine are all done, like so. Now it is time to start building the star. The front of the star will use 2 of these stars. I'm going to take one of the star's side brackets, and it is going to fit right here like so. I'm going to peel off the score tape backing. I'm going to get that right into the corner. I'm going to line the edge of the star up with the dotted line and press it in place. Peel the next half. Do not peel everything in advance. Bring it around. Now this bends the other direction. It's got the score tape on the outside. I get the next side bracket. It will go on like this right here. I'm going to peel the score tape that's on the outside of the previous bracket. Slide this one into place, right into the corner. Line things up, bring it up nice and straight, and press in place. See? Then I can move this, peel the tape that's there, and again, get everything lined up and press in place. This one will come around and go to the inside over there, but I'll do the edges first. This last tab, I'll move to the inside, peel it, make sure things are top to bottom square, press it into place. Now, we do not peel the top ones for the back. This will be the front of our star. We will cover this. Now we'll move on to making the inside pieces. There are 2 spacers that go into the front. You will take these and fold all of the fold lines in the same direction on both of these pieces. Then take score tape and run it along the tab. The tab is the piece that has the cut ends on it. This is going to fold around and go inside, making this little rectangular box that is going to be a spacer. So I'm going to peel that. I'm going to fold it around to the inside. I'm going to line up my edges and glue this in place. When you have something long and skinny like that, I find using my letter opener works very nicely to press the seam in place. Do it on the second one. Score tape always performs better if you press it well in place. These two little spacers are going to get placed inside the star frame on the front in the lower 2 corners. The inside pieces will use that as spacing for distance from the front to create the shadow box effect. So we're going to take these out and we are going to put score tape along 2 sides of it. That is going to fit right into the front corner and provide us with a nice square spacer. So it's going to go in there. I'm going to peel off both pieces, and this is going to stick, so you want to get your placement correct. It goes in, it goes all the way down into the bottom corner, up against the side wall, and down in place. Again, a long tool that I come in from to press that down will help hold it. There's one side. The other one will go over here. So repeat. There we go. So I've got 2 spacers there. The star is going to be put to the side while I start working on assembling the layers. There are 3 main layers for the star nativity, and we're going to start with the front one. There are 6 tabs here, and these are all to get folded on the score lines. Like so. You are to apply score tape to the last tab on all of these 6 sides, but again, leave the backing in place. And now we'll get ready to adhere that to level 2. On level 2, there are 2 tabs at the top. These fold forward. These will form the roof of the stable for the nativity scene. Both those go forward. There's a little tab between them that gets folded down. All of the other sets of tabs get folded in the opposite direction. we will apply score tape to the last tab on these 4. We will not apply score tape to these 2. There is a little tab here that is going to form the peak of the stable. Take score tape and put it on that tab. This will be visible, so I'm going to put score tape all the way to the edge so that the tab does not dangle down. Okay, I'm going to peel the score tape off here. And I'm going to bring this forward and bring them up, line up that center seam, and press in place. These are going to get folded to the back, like so. Now we're going to prepare layer 3. On layer 3, all of the score lines get folded to the back, and we again put score tape on the final tab of each of the 4 tabs around the outside edge. Okay, now it's time to start assembling the layers for the interior layers of the shadow box. Layer 1, the grasses, is going to get adhered to layer 2, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. You start with the 2 tabs at the top. They're going to get placed right here in the point, peak like that, and put into place. I like to peel one first, position it. You don't get second chances with score tape. Get it nice and even and press it into place. When things get tight, I use tweezers, but this one I still have good access to, so I'm going to peel the second one off, line that up, and press it into place as well. See, that makes the stable roof in the shadow box. These edges will now get adhered to the sides here. They'll line up right with the next layer. So I can peel these one at a time, peel it off, bring it down, line them up, and adhere them in place. See? Move around to the bottom. Get a nice corner there. Line it up. There will be a gap in the center. Next one off. Fold it to the back. Get it lined up carefully. These points should all line up. I'll use my letter opener again to get in there and make sure that's a good seal. And then the last side on layer 1, sticking it down to layer 2. And reach in there and press. Okay, so layers 1 and 2 of the shadow box are there. Now we'll repeat the same thing. Layer 3, Jerusalem, will go behind these others. So we will peel a side. here it is the corners that line up. That's the known right there. The other opposite side. Make sure I don't twist it as I go around. Line them up. See, I'm building a nice sidewall there. Okay. The 3 layers of the Nativity are together. The next layer is the vellum layer, and we will add that to this group next. And it is made up of the vellum layer holder and the vellum. In the download, there are 2 vellum holders, and one is slightly smaller than the others. For those of you that are working on Cricuts and Brother Scan & Cuts, you may need to open the smaller one in order for it to open in your software. The vellum star in the download has 2 little squares cut out of it. If you are going to use little tea lights, you will want to cut those little squares. But on this construction, I'm not going to use the tea lights. Instead, I'm going to use a small set of fairy lights. Both of these are available on Amazon. I prefer these because they don't flicker and the on-off switch is outside, so I find these easier. But both can be done. I took out the 2 squares before I cut the vellum for this particular construction. You can choose whichever works for you. Take the vellum and put score tape along the edge of the entire star. This particular step could be done with any ordinary glue. Okay, this is going to be adhered here. You will see that the star is quite a bit smaller than the dotted line. You need to position it so it is inside the dotted line all the way around, nice and flat. There we go. Once you have the vellum adhered to the inside of the vellum holder, each of these is to get folded toward the back, which is the side that has the vellum on it. That'll be the front top. Now it's time to create the star. 3 parts. On the back of the large piece, to put 2 1/2-inch pop dots. On the back of the medium piece, put 2 1/4-inch pop dots. And on the back of the tiny one, put 1 1/4-inch pop dot. And then the tiny one goes onto the center of the medium one. And the medium one gets adhered to the center of the large one. There we go. And the large one gets adhered to the top of the vellum piece, making sure that the points of the star Do not extend beyond the folds. So right there, looks pretty bingo. Press it in place. Now, the front 3 layers will get adhered to the vellum layer. So I will turn this over and I will peel 1 piece of score tape. And again, I start at the bottom points and line up that seam. Press it into place. Come around to the next one. Curl it under. Line up the edge. And press it into place. My letter opener will come into play again here. Do the third. There we go. You can see how these edges do the spacing for each of the layers of the shadow box. The inner layers are set to be tested inside the star frame. Take the star frame and on the back, fold all of the tabs out so that you have access to this space. Pay attention to the 2 brackets. Those are at the bottom. Take the insert and fit it in there. Again, making sure the bottom is at the bottom. And this is kind of a test to see how it fits. Depending on how the star went together, these should line up exactly with this folded edge. And I'm finding mine on the bottom, on the left, I did a better job making my little spacer in there. And on the right, they hang over. So I am going to cut these off. I'm going to see that that one needs that much off. None of this is visible, but this one was a good 1/8 inch too long. So I can just slice those off, and I'm again going to test it. I do not want them to extend above this fold. So those 2 are really under. These are all fine here. Those are probably just a hair, not even a 1/16 of an inch too tall, but it is better to have them a little too short than too tall. So these 2 I'm also going to just shave a little bit. And I will test it one more time and make sure that all the tabs fall nicely below. Yeah, much better. Okay, I'm going to take it out again. And I am going to put score tape on these tabs all the way around. This is what's going to hold all of the inside pieces in place. So I am going to use 1/2 inch score tape here, although a couple of strips of thinner score tape would work just as well. Okay, I'm going to take this and position it into my frame, making sure that those brackets are at the base, making sure everything is below. Okay, now I'm going to start at the bottom in the bottom corners. I'm going to peel 1 piece of score tape. I am going to position this, the top of this, right below the edge there, and I am going to press it into place. Now this inner star is smaller than the big blue star. So you have some flexibility here in placement. There's the bottom one. I'm going to continue working around my star, adhering each one. As I get more of them adhered, they're going to be harder to reach, and I'm going to have to use tweezers to get them. Again, line them up. Down at the bottom where there are those supports, the lining up will happen pretty naturally, but as you get near the top, you're going to have to be careful with that alignment. Don't let it sag in. Making progress here. Okay, so that's there. Now it is time to start building the back. This star will go on the inside, and each of these will close over and seal onto it. So we can peel these off. We put them on earlier. Get that point up there. Get it lined up. Oops. There we go. And you can work your way around the star. If you were going to use the tea lights, you would want to add this tea light shelf in here at this time. It goes across here, right below, and gets glued in there onto the center thing. Because I'm using the tea lights, I do not need that piece, so I'm not going to put it in. Next, we'll be adding the back cover. In the tutorial, I did this with score tape, and I didn't like how it came out. I am going to use tacky glue this time. I am going to put a small bead all the way around on the star. Make sure you know where the bottom is. The door goes at the bottom. I should be able to reposition this after I place it. When I used score tape, I did not get the placement perfect, and it caused it to warp a little bit. Press down nicely all the way around there. I do have to slide it. I'm a little bit too far that way. Okay, now I can open my little door back here, and I can take my letter opener, and I can try to press forward on each of these, especially out in the corners. Let's see how that takes. The back of the star is now glued on. I'm not terribly pleased with how the tacky glue worked. I have some gaps, and I'm going to have to fill those, but I will do that after. Because I wasn't pleased with that, the way I put the front on will be different. I'm going to use score tape, and I've applied score tape to the back of the entire front star. It will cover these tabs here. I put it on so that I have a little piece at the tip and a little piece directly opposite it, so I can peel those first and position them and stick them in place to try and hold it flat. I will then peel the other pieces using tweezers and adhere the whole thing at once. So I will start by peeling off just this tip. I used 1/2-inch score tape on the back here in a variety of little pieces. There we go. Okay, the tip is going to go up there. I'm going to match all my inside seams before I press. Very nice. Press the tip. Press that bottom. Now I can curl these up and peel the other sides and put them in place without having problems with it wiggling and warping. So there's one, and I'll get the other side before I press it. Now the last step, on the back of the star, there is this flap for putting the lights in. If you're using the tea lights, you'll see 2 holes there and the shelf, and they'll slide in. But there is a cover for the door, and that's so the light won't leak out around it. I've put score tape on the back of the cover for the door, leaving the 2 overhangs without score tape and the little latches without score tape. I will peel those. 1, 2, 3. Other types of adhesive could be used here well too. And I'm going to line that right up with the fold so it doesn't interfere with the door opening up, and push it right on to that door on the back. Now on mine, the door did accidentally cut off. There was an error in the file. I just taped it back in place. If yours did the same. These little tabs go inside. This little tab is to open it, and that'll keep the candles out of sight. Now, as I said, on mine, I'm not using the tea lights. I'm going to use the fairy lights, and I just place them in there so that if I have to, I can take them out and replace them. I don't attach them in any way. It's important to place them so that they are below the line of Jerusalem here. We don't want them up behind the vellum because they'll show as very white dots up there. So I'm going to put this in and spread them around, leaving the on-off switch on the outside. Close the door, and I have my lit shadow box. Thanks for watching my tutorial, and happy crafting!